So this is the secreting epithelium called as stria vascularis. This is the Reissner's membrane. How do you remember this easily? RBS, random blood sugar. Okay. So Reissner's membrane, stria vascularis and basilar membrane. So what is the answer here? So Reissner's membrane, can it secrete, or capillaries of the spiral ligament? So there is a spiral ligament over here which is going like this, spiral ligament which is going here, which is going like this, and none of the above. The answer could be, so capillaries of the spiral ligament. We have already seen that this is the capillaries of the spiral ligament. So stria vascularis, it is producing, what is this space called as? Endolymphatic space or perilymphatic space? So this is endolymph or perilymph? This is endolymph. This is perilymph. So stria vascularis is secreting endolymph. Perilymph is produced by means of your spiral, this particular spiral ligament, capillaries of the spiral ligament. Capillaries of the spiral ligament. So now you got the same picture here. So this is the scala vestibulae, scala media, this is the scala tympani. This is the spiral ganglion, so which is going towards the cochlea. So what is spiral ganglion? Spiral ganglion is going towards the cochlea. So it is going to form cochlear nerve. Okay. Okay. Vestibular ganglion is called as Karp's ganglion. You should have idea. Vestibular ganglion is called as Karp's. This is spiral ganglion, which is cochlea. Okay. So you should have idea about this one. So vestibule, media, tympani, as we have already noted. So this is perilymph, and this one is endolymph. You should have an idea. The center one is called as nothing but your cochlear duct. So cochlear duct is different, cochlear aqueduct is different. Cochlear duct is different, cochlear aqueduct is different. You should have an idea. This is the organ of Corte, helpful for hearing. Sound vibrations go like this and go towards the nerve. Okay, this is the scala vestibulae, scala media, scala tympani. So what should you have here? This is the stria vascularis. This is the stria vascularis. What is this one? This is basilar membrane. What is this one? This is the Reissner's membrane. Reissner's membrane. The scala media, which I told you, okay, the scala media is filled with endolymph. Perilymph is present in scala vestibulae and scala tympani. We already seen this point. Okay, and then perilymph of scala vestibulae originates from plasma, while the perilymph of scala tympani originates from the both plasma and CSF. So what is he telling? Once again, differentiation here. So what is this? Vestibulae, media, tympani. So media is having spiral, this particular stria vascularis, it is producing like this. Whereas in vestibulae is perilymph or endolymph? Here peri, here also perilymph. So perilymph of scala vestibulae, this is originating from plasma. So plasma is giving rise to perilymph of vestibulae. While perilymph of scala tympani originates from both plasma and CSF. Both plasma and CSF. You can imagine like that. Why? Because when you straighten the tube like this, so this is scala vestibulae, this is scala media, this is scala tympani. So it is connecting to something called as cochlear aqueduct. Okay. Connecting to cochlear aqueduct, which is connecting to CSF space. That is why perilymph of this one is produced by CSF also along with plasma. Okay. But perilymph of this one is produced by only this plasma, as we have seen. Next, endolymph that fills the scala media. Endolymph that fills the scala media is secreted by stria vascularis. We have already discussed. Endolymph that is filling by means of stria vascularis. So this is stria vascularis producing the endolymph. A highly vascular area in the outer wall of scala media. We have seen that. So this is the scala stria vascularis, in the highly vascular area in the this particular scala media. Okay, got the point. Next, endolymph is something which is related to intracellular space. Okay, endolymph is like intracellular. It consists of rich in potassium. Potassium is rich in endolymph. High concentration of potassium and low sodium. Sodium is low. It is opposite to perilymph. So perilymph is having what? Perilymph is like extracellular fluid, sodium concentration is high. Perilymph is like extracellular fluid, sodium concentration is high. So perilymph is primarily formed by the vascular network, that is especially in the spiral ligament, the ligament which provides the support of basement membrane. I told you spiral ligament which provides, what is spiral ligament actually? This is the basement membrane, I told you, is it or not? So Reissner's membrane, basilar membrane and stria vascularis. This spiral ligament, it provides attachment to the basilar membrane, therefore it forms the perilymph. Yes or no? We have already seen. So perilymph of scala vestibuli is formed by plasma. Perilymph of scala tympani is formed by both plasma and CSF. Next, pain of stylalgia is mediated through which nerve? 9th cranial nerve, 10th cranial nerve, 11th cranial nerve, 12th cranial nerve. Stylalgia, styloid process, you should get it in mind. Or Eagle's syndrome, you should call it as Eagle's syndrome. This is important for entrance. Okay, Eagle's syndrome is also important for entrance. Which cranial nerve is mediating this? 9th cranial nerve, 10th cranial nerve, 11th cranial nerve, 12th cranial nerve. Actually, if you take the tonsils like this, the bed of the tonsil is having, you can palpate the styloid process. Styloid process comes, if it is growing larger, it is going to impinge on the bed of the tonsil. So, what is the cranial nerve supplying the bed of the tonsil? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Guess the answer once. Nothing wrong even if you are wrong also. 9th cranial nerve. Correct answer. So, the answer is glossopharyngeal nerve. Glossopharyngeal nerve. Stylalgia, the pain is mediated by means of 9th cranial nerve. Stylalgia. You could see the elongated styloid process. This styloid process normally 2 to 3 centimeters, and if it is growing more and more like that, if it is more than 1 centimeter, it is regularly present, which should be larger than that. It should be called, it is reaching till the level of this hyoid bone. So, what is this ligament that is formed? Stylohyoid ligament. Actually, it is not a process growth. The calcification of stylohyoid ligament can be called it as this particular stylalgia. Yes or no? You have to remove the styloid process excision by after doing the tonsillectomy. That is the surgery done. Unrecognized elongation of styloid process and a calcified stylohyoid ligament. I told you stylohyoid ligament calcification compresses the glossopharyngeal nerve, producing a neuralgic pain. Any nerve is produced, it produces neuralgic pain about the swallowing, often radiating to the ear. This is called as, what is that called as? Eagle syndrome or stylalgia. Everybody knows that. Good. Next, Trotman's triangle is bounded by all except. Trotman's triangle is bounded by all except sigmoid sinus, bony labyrinth, superior petrosal sinus, posterior margin of the external auditory canal. Sigmoid sinus. So, Trotman's triangle. For example, from the ear, there are two types of abscess that can form in the brain, that is cerebral abscess and cerebellar abscess. Cerebellar abscess. This cerebellar abscess spreads from the ear through the Trotman's triangle. Trotman's triangle. You should remember blah 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 easily. Bony labyrinth anteriorly, sigmoid sinus posteriorly, and dura superiorly. These are the boundaries of this one. Okay. Bony labyrinth anteriorly, sigmoid sinus posteriorly, and dura superiorly. So answer here would be, yes, the answer here would be posterior margin of the external auditory canal. Did I have any external auditory meatus in the answer? No. So posterior margin of the external auditory meatus is wrong. Sigmoid sinus is posterior boundary, bony labyrinth is anterior boundary, and superior petrosal sinus are dura superiorly. Okay, this is superior boundary. Let us see in the picture, you will understand. So while you are seeing it from the behind, once you are seeing it from the behind, this is the sigmoid sinus that you have. Sigmoid sinus, it forms the jugular bulb. Is it or not? Jugular bulb is going to form like this. This sigmoid sinus is going to form like this, and this sigmoid sinus is joined by superior petrosal sinus like this. Is it or not? If this is a petrous temporal bone, for example, if you take the petrous temporal bone, you see from behind, it looks like this. This is the petrous apex. This is the left petrous temporal bone. This is the right petrous temporal bone. The one which is above called as superior petrosal sinus. The one which is below is called as inferior petrosal sinus. So superior petrosal sinus and inferior petrosal sinus. The superior petrosal sinus and inferior petrosal sinus, they join at the confluence of these sinuses. Okay. So what is this superior petrosal sinus? This is above the, this is the petrous temporal bone. Okay, same greater than less than I am drawing. So this is the superior petrosal sinus, and this is the solid angle. What is solid angle? So lateral semicircular canal, superior semicircular canal, posterior semicircular canal. The angle between this is called as solid angle. So Trotman's triangle is formed by bony labyrinth. The labyrinth is in front. So labyrinth is in front. So anteriorly solid angle, that is labyrinth related, semicircular canal related angle. So anteriorly bony labyrinth. Okay, sigmoid sinus is posterior. This is a posterior boundary. Okay, this is a sigmoid sinus posteriorly. Sigmoid sinus is posteriorly. and dura superior. Dura or superior petrosal sinus. This is a superior petrosal sinus superiorly. This is a dura or superior petrosal sinus. How does the infection? I told you posterior cranial fossa. What is there in the posterior cranial fossa? Is it cerebrum or cerebellum? Cerebellum. So posterior cranial fossa, the infection goes to posterior cranial fossa, that is towards the cerebellum through this Trotman's triangle. When ear has to go, the infection, mastoid infection has to go to posterior cranial fossa, it will go through the Trotman's triangle. What are the boundaries? Once again, bony labyrinth anteriorly, sigmoid sinus posteriorly, and dura or superior petrosal sinus superiorly. Okay, dura or superior petrosal sinus superiorly. You should all remember this one. Okay, very important. Next question. Costens syndrome refers to neuralgic pain because of sphenopalatine ganglion, temporomandibular joint, glossopharyngeal nerve and lingual nerve. Costens syndrome is nothing but, answer is, you can see that picture. The answer is temporomandibular joint. Costens syndrome, you can call it as temporomandibular joint syndrome, wherein you have got prolonged overclosure. When your mouth is closed tightly, you have got deafness, you have got tinnitus, you have tenderness over the temporomandibular joint, you have dryness of mouth and neuralgic symptoms in the burning of the throat and headache, including burning of the throat and headache. So you have got the radiation of the pain from this. For example, if you take, this is the external aortic canal, pinna, external aortic canal, this is the tragus. Here you will be having the temporomandibular joint, is it or not? From here it radiates towards that side. So the pain because of this part is supplied by what? Auriculotemporal nerve. The same one will be radiating towards the ear also. They think that patient will come with ear pain, but the pain is because of Costens syndrome. How would you ask the patient to open and close the mouth recurrently? You will understand whether it is related to the temporomandibular joint or external aortic canal. This is a question on referred pain in ear. So this is Costens syndrome. Okay, thank you very much for watching ENT student for ENT need based bits.